Let's say a couple with two small children moves in across the street from you. They also drive a brand new car. Now you just happened to be reading earlier that day that this particular model and year scored the highest in its class in every single safety measure across the board. You also learned that this car costs significantly more than other cars in its class, specifically because of this high safety rating. Given the total evidence available to you at this time, you reasonably infer that your new neighbors probably care a great deal for safety for their family. You wait a few days, allowing them to settle in before crossing the street to introduce yourself. However, as you walk up their driveway, you notice that the airbags have been tampered with and disabled, and that the child safety seats are both attached improperly with duct tape. Naturally, you're a bit puzzled. Observing the general fact that your neighbors purchased a car specifically pricey for its safety features clearly seems to be more likely on the hypothesis that the family cares about safety than on the hypothesis that the family does not care about safety. And yet, given the general fact, the additional observations, the specific facts of the duct-taped child safety seats and disabled airbags are more likely on the hypothesis that the family doesn't care about safety than on the hypothesis that they do. Now, if, say, somebody was in a position to know all of these facts, the general and specific facts, but yet they presented an evidential argument for the hypothesis that the family cares a great deal for safety, but appealing only to the general fact about the car's high safety rating and related high cost, they would be guilty of understating the evidence. Philosopher Paul Draper argues that many evidential arguments for theism are similarly guilty of appearing convincing only because they understate the evidence, as they, quote, successfully identify some general fact about some topic that is more surprising on naturalism than on theism, but all too conveniently ignore more specific facts about the topic, facts that, given the general fact, are significantly more surprising on theism than on naturalism. There are many examples of arguments for theism which fit this pattern. One such argument sets its sights on religious experience. If we agree that the general fact of religious experience had apparently of God is more likely on theism than on naturalism, we can say it counts as some evidence for theism over naturalism. But Paul Draper reminds us that the general fact of the existence of religious experience is not the only relevant fact we know about that topic. Draper reminds us of three specific facts which, given the general fact of religious experience, are much more likely on naturalism than on theism. First, quote, not everyone has theistic experiences, and those who do typically have a prior belief in God or extensive exposure to a theistic religion. Secondly, the subjects of theistic experience pursue a variety of radically different religious paths, none of which bears abundantly more moral fruit than all the others. And third, victims of tragedy are rarely comforted by religious experience. Again, given the general fact of the existence of theistic religious experience, each one of these facts are more likely on naturalism than on theism. And so after considering all the relevant facts about religious experience, it's not at all obvious that relevant observations regarding the topic of religious experience actually favor theism over naturalism, just as when considering all the facts about your neighbor's car, it's far from obvious that they give a damn about their children. According to Draper, many evidential arguments for theism suffer similarly. If you liked this video, please subscribe to